The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
There we go. A little late on the uptake, but better late than never, I guess. Anyway, we're off 84 points on the S&P 500. Dow's off 735. The Nasdaq's off 246. And amazingly enough, I'm all in equities, and I don't think I'm going to stop out. We'll have to see. It'll be close. But in some pretty good equity positions, and they're holding fairly well. So we'll see how this happens. I may have one of them that I'll sell at the end of the day, but not much going on out here. And it's kind of a wide breadth. And of course, probably the one was watching very closely on last Thursday was NVIDIA. It had kind of a very interesting open today. Volumes come in at 16 million shares today, which is not all that exciting compared to the February 8th slam down that was on 26 million shares. So we're going into that with lighter volume, about 16 million shares so far today. So we'll see how the volume comes in at the end of the day. But what was very interesting is that they ran these up in the first couple of minutes and then came down and really started slamming them. So anyway, the proof of the pudding is going to be at the end of the day when we start looking at volume. We'll be looking at other charts that have fairly light volume following up from Thursday. But didn't have any index positions, so I didn't have to worry about getting stopped out on that. Just a handful of equities that seem to be holding up rather well. But could be some fairly decent reversal patterns happening, but we'll have to see what happens at the end of the day. Of course, today is, at least nothing going on for me. Let me put it that way. Not in the market. So what do we have? We've got a handful of stocks. Everybody's kind of a little bit nervous out here. As I said on NVIDIA, it's coming on there. Tesla. Mr. Musk kind of made a joke about it going bankrupt, and that kind of started a little bit of the big selling today. It got down to 244.59. Everybody keeps asking me what the stock is going to, and I suspect it's going to $40 eventually, because that's about what it's worth. It's just going to take a lot of time, and my guess is this thing's 50% short by now. So we're probably going to have, at any kind of bottom, have, right now, would it be beyond the scope to see this thing bounce to $300? I don't think so. Just so many shorts out here. If anything could happen, it would be rather amazing. But you could see some big bounces in this market. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can put a message in the den. And what do we have? Got a question about where I would start buying Intel. And if you're asking me, I wouldn't be buying Intel. I knew it was going higher and I didn't buy it. It just doesn't move enough in a short period of time to really interest me generally. So I kind of steer away from it. But you're basically into the bottom of this candle, which is the 2nd of March, that had 33 million shares. You already got 37 million shares. So that's kind of a tough one. So right now you've got a big kind of reversal pattern out on this one. Nice price spread. My guess is this one's going to go sideways for a little while before you probably want to look at it. There's a handful of stocks that have come down on really light volume, and those ones are probably going to be the V bottoms when we get the bounce. I just don't see going after stocks like this with big candles and wanting to dive back in for, I'm going to call it meager rewards to the upside. Although I think it's highly likely that it bounces, and it's your money, it's not mine. It's just I don't like playing stocks for low money, and especially in a market that is wild as this, I don't get too excited. But you should have at least some kind of minimal support right around this $47 level. Now, what I would be looking for by the end of the day is fund buying coming in late in the day and everybody being short. Now, maybe that doesn't come in till tomorrow. Maybe all those guys have just stood back and let everybody go at it, and then they'll start buying when everybody kind of gives up at the bottom. That's generally the pattern. There is a fairly decent amount of money sitting that should come into this market, and the question is, when does it? I don't think it did on Thursday, so we'll have to see what that comes back in. Okay, what else do we have out here? Okay. I want to look at a handful of them. Okay, someone wants me to look at Facebook real quickly, so we'll do that. Facebook. Again, 49.02 was the spike low on March 26 with 125 million shares. Doing 25 million shares today. So that tells you a little bit. You're off $3 on Apple. Let's take a quick look on that. I mean, none of these are the end of the world. This thing not too long ago on February 9th was 150 bucks. Could it go back there? I think it could, but what are we looking at today? And that is 41 million shares on the 23rd of March, and we've got 20, is that right? Yeah, 41 million shares. Right now we got about 23.6 million shares. A lot of these pushes down have been kind of violent, but the volume really hasn't picked up in some of these. Let's take a look at some other ones. Let's see what MU is doing. Okay, and you always wonder when you forget to turn off your telephone what's going on, but that's it. I've got charts up, so I don't know what's going on. I'll turn them off and turn them back on. You should be seeing them. There's nothing else out going on. So anyway, I mean, on Micron, if you were talking about Intel and or Micron, I'm going to make a case here that we're looking at Micron as a possible buy if the market does turn around, especially the SMHs. This one has a much better pattern, or at least better that it's already at some sort of level. And we'll look at those when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Well, we got some callers lined up, so we're going to go to Victor in Paramus, New Jersey first. How you doing today, Victor? Going once, going twice.
Snap. Would you touch Snap? Hello?
Yep. Looking at Snap, pretty good pattern.
Like it?
It's gone right back to this double gap at 15. You're down at 1454. Volume so far is 20.5 million shares compared to the gap up with 231 million shares. So you're probably talking fairly decent support area around here. What are you thinking about doing with it?
I was thinking about buying it. Looks like it's late volume. I don't know. Unless the market's in full crash mode, according to Larry Pesavento, the Dow should be down like 2,400 points one day. So I don't know. We're probably going to close down 666, sign of the devil. They always do that.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Everything's symbolic.
Yeah. I don't, I'm looking at a lot of charts out here. We're going to look at some a little later. There's a lot of them out here that don't have much volume. There's a lot of volume coming from the ETFs, and it looks like they're really kind of pounding those, but I don't see a lot of people selling the individual stocks. Maybe that comes by the end of the day. But as soon as you get a signal, in the NASDAQ that you found a bottom, I like this.
I think there's a lot of gaps that we're going to fill back to when the president was elected, to say the least, and then we're going to do quantitative easing again to bring the 10-year down.
That's a long way down the road, I suspect. But that's
What's down the road? What's down the road?
Any of the things that you talked about, quantitative easing.
No, you'll see. It'll be by the summer when the economy isn't that strong. I don't know who's painting
well, then
the
you should
picture.
just go right ahead. You don't need me if you can see the future that well.
You can see the future 6-8 months down the road. Mortgage rates have risen really high. I'm in real estate, and sales have slowed down tremendously.
Well, I like Snap here. We're going to go to Mike in Toronto. Thanks. Okay. Oh, Mike had to go. So anyway, he wanted to look at Tesla. I don't know what his question was on Tesla. Maybe he'll call back on that. We'll go to some other stocks out here. Oh, he's in Lutz. He's stuck in Lutz. Okay. What do we have? Oh, we want to look at some of the stocks that I was looking at over this weekend, and of course, occasionally check back in. Off 75 points in the S&P cash. There's not a lot of areas in here that really ring for a test right now. So the question would be whether or not this is just a spike down in to the end of the day, if there's something bigger going on. I'd really like to see, volume right now been running around 7 or 8 billion shares a day from the CBOE, consolidated tape. And we've got 4.4 billion shares, which is good, but it's not the kind of blowout volume, of 12 billion shares that we saw before when we came back to these lower levels. So I'll look at this probably during the next break, but we're going to need close to 3 times the volume to match that we have right now, to match what we had in the previous slam down. So you could look at this if we close back above as a test of those previous slam down starting at the 1st of February as a valid test on lighter volume. So we'll get into that. Maybe I'll get a chance to look through it. But why the volume is good, it's not fantastic. It certainly is nowhere close to the levels that we were seeing back in February. So maybe there's more. Let's start looking for some of these stocks that were testing lows on lighter volume and see how they did today. We brought this one up on Friday, which is Abel Marley. And, this is kind of like a lot of things I'm looking at out here. Not all. Now, if you're only focused on the 4 FANG stocks and the NASDAQ, this isn't what you're seeing. But if you're looking a little deeper out here, there are a lot of stocks that are all set up like this. March 2nd, $90.49, 5.7 million shares. Got into it with 2.9 million shares. Bounced a little on Thursday on light volume, but down again today on very light volume of 1.1 million shares, or what's called 1.2 million shares against that 5 million share low. So again, these individual stocks seem to be operating rather correctly. Another one I was looking at was Cadence Design Systems. I like the pattern in this stock, February 9th, $36.23 with 3.5 million shares. We're into that with 1 million shares today. Charter Communications, let's take a look at this one quickly. This one's breaking through the previous low of 3.5 million shares back on October 27th at 308.30. You're down to 298.75 on a third of the volume so far today. So a lot of these things, there may be a buyer strike, but there certainly isn't. The sellers certainly not piling in. Now, some of these other stocks that makes me think we're probably fairly close. We'll go back and look at MU again, and that is these lows on Cirrus Logic. $39.51 on February 6th. Did that with 7.5 million shares. We're back into that with 600,000 shares today. So again, are they the best patterns? Do they come down on the lightest volume in the world? No, but there's a lot of them that look very interesting out here. If the market holds, there's going to be a lot of stuff that is buyable out here and have very good patterns. Dycom Industry, another good one, 105. 2.4 million shares, got into it with a little less than 300,000 shares on March 27th. Today, we've got 153,000 shares. So it's, we had some big spikes. This is that February 12th low, but that February 1st, February 15th level where most everything came down did not have it. A ghost from Christmas past is breaking down on lighter volume too. And that is eBay. had a February 9th low at $40.43 on 16 million shares. It's down on 4.5 million shares. So we're basically about below the previous low on about a third of the volume at this time. GoGo, which is the airplane internet stocks. So we'll look at that I think that's what this is. Previous low on 2.2 million shares. You can even look at the low of 3.1 million shares or 3.2 million shares on February 23rd. We're breaking through that with about 1 million shares, so about half the volume. HBI, which is Hanes Brands, the makers of wonderful and lovely underwear that doesn't bacon in the corner or in the collar, if they tell you so much. You've had two previous lows. We're back into that February 9th low of 1857 with 17 million shares with 3.7 million shares so far today. So there's a lot of gold out here in the charts on light and stuff. When we get to bounce, we'll be looking at those. When we come back, we'll be looking at Toll Brothers.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Toll Brothers, a question from Pete in San Francisco, talking about Toll Brothers. Now, Wednesday we have Lennar on earnings. So I probably wouldn't get in front of Toll Brothers before that. You're down on about 1 million shares so far, 1.2 million shares, compared to the 3 million and 2.5 million, 2.6 million shares we saw back in February. So we are breaking below previous lows on lighter volume in some of these. In fact, it looked like a lot of these in the housing business didn't look that weak down here. They actually, you know, they looked fairly weak at the top, and they sold off. And we talked a lot about the REITs being weak, which I thought was the builders and the strip mall owners. But you certainly, if you're looking at Toll Brothers, you don't have much in the way of volume. Let's look at DH Horton. You want 5 million shares. You got 2.5 so far, 2.6 million shares. So it's going to test a $41.34 area. And of course, Lennar, which comes out after the bell on Wednesday, I think, or maybe before the bell on Wednesday. Which one was it? What is it? Before the bell on Wednesday, you've got Lennar. So there isn't much going on in this other than that. Lennar's back to support. You've got about 8 million shares. This thing is back today with 3.5 million shares. Pretty good support here, though, for Lennar going into earnings in a market. And the chart doesn't look all that bad in that we've had lighter volume coming off this 61.52. So in a lot of these stocks, I continue to think that as soon as this market does find a bottom, if these things don't break before then, we're seeing a lot of fairly decent stock patterns show up in this market. Home Depot also in that same sector. You wanted 11.6 million shares from the February 6th low. You tried it on 6 million shares, bounced a little on the 23rd. Today we've got 3.9 million shares right at the moment. So again, it just isn't all that exciting down here for volume. And again, there is a lot of volume in the indexes, not as much as I think we need for these previous tests, but it's pretty interesting. Okay, what else do we have out here that I wanted to look at today? Williams Company, WMB. This one had 30 million shares back on the 15th. We're breaking that today with 6 million shares. Yeah, it had 20 million shares on Thursday, but it really didn't go very far. Today, down on fairly light volume. Yeah, 6.2 million shares into the 30 million share low of March 15th. So these are what I like in the fact that if you're looking for stocks that could bounce fairly quickly, when we do find a bottom, at least for a couple of 2 or 3 days, these things are not looking all that bad. The XLB in that materials sector had a 26 million share low on February 9th, the 56.62. So you got 26 million shares to compare against 6.3 million shares today. So a lot of these breakdowns on lighter volume so far. Not all of them, but there's enough. This is where you separate the wheat from the chaff. So it would be interesting. XOG, which is extraction oil and gas, saw the February 4th low of last year at $11.31 with 1.1 million shares. We're breaking down on that so far today with about 700,000 shares. Could you get 1.1? You could, but it is kind of continually slighter volume. XOM, another one that we're looking at here as it breaks the previous low. That low had basically 30 million shares on February 9th. We're into that with 9.2 million shares so far. So again, while we are moving and the market may even move slightly down or even more lower from here, what we're not seeing is that a lot of these stocks, including some of the bigger stocks, are breaking the previous lows on heavier volume. They're actually breaking them on lighter volume. Any pullback into these things would be a great washout and a good sign of a bottom in at least these particular stocks. Give me a call of 877-927-66 648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Let's take a look at this BVN. Okay, you got 3 advancing soldiers on no volume. You had 1.4 million shares on March 20th. You tested it with 1.6 million shares on the 27th. So that actually spiked it with more volume. You got 3 advancing soldiers. I would still want this thing to test 1426 again, or certainly get back down into this candle of March 20th before it. You got a little spike out here. So, yeah, there's enough out here. But you got basically the 3 pattern up. You're giving back a lot off the highs here. You know, it's not a big deal. You're back down 50, 70 cents on this thing. But my guess is lighter volume back into that 1450 to 1475 range would be it. Let's look at the SMHs real quickly here today. Then we'll go back and look at MU because we were talking about that earlier in the day. Got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. Okay, now we're just off 75 on the S&P 500. Okay. Let's look at the SMHs breaking through the March 2nd low that had 5.4 million shares. You got 6 million shares. So this is one that actually had some, is having some decent volume. That sets you up for a test of the February 9th low at 93.88. Let's just go back here and look at MU, which was kind of the strongest ones. You're right back down to support, which is what I was bringing up, this 49.89, the November 22nd high, and that's why I'd probably look at this one a lot tougher. You were up on 70 million shares on the 5th of March, and we've got, what, 46 million shares now? So you're going to be back down into the support area on Micron with lighter volume. Just have to see how this goes. If you had the one thing that you did kind of do is come down with some heavier volume on MU, which is that day of the 23rd of March with 119 million shares. But you're back to the support level here. So again, it's going to be, even if you're short on this thing, it's going to be kind of tough sledding from here. You've had the easy money off the top, but into lighter volume on those highs. Okay, we're going to go to break here in just a second, and we got a lot more stocks to look at today. We're back off 80 points on the S&P cash. 689 on the Dow. The Nasdaq's off 244. We're back in just a minute.
Folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks. Would you like exposure to the foreign currency markets without any downside risk to your principal? Then consider the Petro Currencies Market Safe CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD leverages the performance of 4 equally weighted currencies from these top oil-producing countries: Brazil, Canada, Mexico, and Russia. This CD features a 200% leverage factor, which means that your potential upside payment will be double the currency's average performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And if the returns are negative, your principal's 100% protected. Returns are based on CD performance with no correlation to the price of oil, and there is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. The April 19th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA FSB, member FDIC.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And on a question on Square, this broke out on the 5th of March above the November 24th high at 49.56. That had 16, let's call it 17 million shares. Broke right up to it on the 5th of March with 30 million shares, but you never really had a big day after that. You had 17 million shares on the 20th, which is acceptable volume, but you really didn't have any. All you've done is you really kind of broken out without a lot of volume. Now you're back to the support levels, and volume's fairly light. 8.5 million shares today compared to Wednesday's 27.5 million shares. So you're into support areas that are really clear. I don't know. You really have to put a lot of faith into Square, and right now it didn't seem like there's just that much into it that I would think that there's a lot there. Somebody asking me to look at UNG. Don't know if there's anything out here that would make me think that looking at this is a big deal. No, just coming back around that $21 range. But again, I didn't think much about it. Question is about looking at the IWM. So we'll do that quick. The XHB is dropping. Okay. The Russell shares on the 2nd of March had 32 million shares, 38 million shares the day before. We got 21 million shares today. So we're coming right back into this 146 level. You got down to 142.50 on 53 million shares. But again, you're down on like 21 million shares. So there was a couple of days you came down with volume, but certainly in the IWM today, if you look at those previous lows from February 6, we had 69 million shares to 53 million shares. Yeah, a lot of those in there. You're back into those areas, and there isn't that much volume, at least so far today. Now, maybe that comes in later today, but I haven't seen a great deal of it, and I continue to look at a lot of these stocks. Schlumberger is coming back and hitting a 19 million share low from October 20th. $61.40 with 19 million shares on October 20th. You're, what, 60 cents above that now with 4.4 million shares. So, you know, if you're planning on energy turning around, there's certainly not a lot of volume down here on the low end of some of these energy stocks. We looked at XOM too. Okay, let's take a quick look at Stericycle. A lot of these blew out and then have come back lower. Stericycle on February 23rd, 58.53. You broke it with half the volume on March 26th of 1.6 million shares. Today you got 500,000 shares. So again, it's a tale of two cities. I know that a lot of those big tech stocks are getting hammered, and that's causing other stocks to be sold too. But, man, there's a long list of stocks out here that aren't getting any love to the downside today. Okay, break of the March 2nd low, a 36.35 with 4 million shares. Today we're down on Terex Company with 470,000 shares. So, a little more than 1/10 the volume of that March 2nd low. So keep that one on your highlight. Do we look at XLB already? I think we did. Materials. Let's look at XHB. This one's trying to break through the previous lows that had upwards of 6 million shares, lower parts of 4 million shares. You do have that volume today on the home builders index, and that is a little less than that big February 9th low, but my guess is by the end of the day, you're going to have that 6 million shares. So housing still showing weakness, like interest rates are going higher. To Sprint, an interesting pattern also. Yeah, I'll look at CLF in just a second. Sprint Corporation, one of the better looking stocks out here, 491 from the February 1st low, 42 million shares. You've had 6 million shares today in Sprint. Energy coming off the February 8th high, not all that exciting. So there are, like I said, there are a lot of stocks out here that are looking very interesting. Let's look at FDX quickly, and then we'll look at CLF. Okay, FedEx tested its previous low on 5 million shares on February 9th, on March 23rd with 2.6 million shares, so half the volume. It's bounced a little bit. This one actually looks like one of the stronger ones, down on 1.3 million shares today. So wherever we find a bottom, Federal Express looks interesting. Take a look at Cliffs. They changed their name, though, CLF. I always want to call it Cliffs Natural Resources, which is the old name for it. They're now Cliffs something or other. This is just a big triangle pattern that is not broken out yet. Let's take a look at this. And again, I always like to see, you know, it's not that much on this little lower out here, but I would still, let's zoom in here a little bit so I can draw it. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking at. You want this thing to really break out one way or the other. It hadn't broken the previous low, so lower highs, higher lows, and the first break of this thing is probably the one you want to buy or sell. If it breaks higher, then you're probably short this thing. Well, I wouldn't short a $7 stock. What you would hope then is this thing does break lower to maybe $6 and no volume comes in, and that may be the buy on that right there. Okay, what else do we have? Flexera, Flextronics. This is busting the 5 million share low of February 9th. So far today, we've got 3.2 million shares. Could that get to 5? It could. But again, the semiconductor part of the market's probably the weakest part. Huntsman Corporation is bouncing off the 7 million share low from on November 15th, 28.84, 7 million shares. Tested it with 4.7 million shares on February 9th. Now we're breaking it below it on 1.5 million shares. So as I said, there is a lot of gold out here if we find some kind of tradable bottom to trade off of, these things are going to be some rockets because they're down on no volume. Not all stocks. What else do we want to look at out here? I want to look at a few. Oh, we're going to go to break here. Parker Hannifin, when we come back, another nugget of gold out here, breaking previous lows on lighter volume. Be back in.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what do we have out here? Cambridge displays. They want me to take a look at this one. This is about 96.55. Gapped up back on the 5th of May of last year. 4.9 million shares. Ran all the way up to $209, so it's half off. Half off sale today at TFNN on OLED. Energy's been pretty good on the way back down, but you are at rather massive support. Again, we talked about this, I think, on Tom O'Brien's show, and that was that Samsung's kind of abandoning OLED technology for their displays. Apple's getting into making their own on maybe other kind of technology. And the idea is that all the royalties that would flow to this company probably not flowing anymore. or at least greatly diminished. And of course, we're down, but you know what? You are down against, what is that, 5 million shares today with 1.1 million shares. So, 870,000 shares. So, like I said, we're down here. I don't know if we're going to get a bounce. I don't see any signals quite yet. But I certainly see a lot of stocks on no volume. And for the most part, my holdings, I'm just going to sit on my hands here because most of them look to be holding up fairly good. This is a great time to spend looking at charts because this is where you're going to get the huge dividends, especially if you're figuring these stocks out. Did they come back down with light volume? Are they at support areas and gaps with much lighter volume? We went through just a handful of the ones that I've been putting in my newsletter the last few days. So this is where you start separating the wheat from the chaff. And, if you're worried about a market that bounces around a lot, not a bad place to take a stand on any signal of a market. Back market. Same back channel, same back time. So when you can.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.